Hello, new friends. Thank you for joining me today. This video was actually suggested, and it was to take a look at the globe that I showed in my bookshelf video. So I'm going to do this handheld because it's hard to get an angle on the globe otherwise. That's really good. But before we start really taking a look, one thing I wanted to just show, it's so funny to me how, sorry that angle's weird, you can just see how tilted the globe is, right? In my head, I always think of it as pretty straight, and of course it's not. At all. It's very tilted, and you can see we can go down here, get underneath. Tip of South America's way down here, Tierra del Fuego. Oh my gosh, we have to go so far to get down to Antarctica. But now we'll go back up. There's the equator. And there on this globe you can see the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, Sargasso Sea. Here's the Caribbean. So we'll look at all that stuff. This is going to be a very homemade feeling video. We can see here the degrees. And this map has the relief. My goodness, the globe looks so small, but my hand looks enormous. And let's see, I want to show the legend real quick before we really get started. I keep wanting to tilt my phone because the map or the globe itself is so tilted. But this is my phone straight, so you can see the legend and the distances. Tells you how big the cities are and how you tell one from the other. Here's the Tropic of Capricorn down here. And let's see, HMS Beagle that Charles Darwin took. There's the Galapagos. I was thinking as I was getting ready to film this, hold on, we'll tap the base for a minute, about sort of silly things that we tell children about God when they're small. And I was thinking it'd be very normal to say, like, you know, this is God looking down on the earth. But I don't even know why we would say things like that. They just make no sense to me. Why tell children things that just aren't true at all? I mean, God isn't like sitting up somewhere looking down at us. Like, God's like, oh, what's going on in Mexico today? You know, so I just don't know why we don't tell them that, you know, God is earth in his existence, or something closer to that. So this is the kind of globe that it is. It's a Rapogel 12-inch diameter globe, World Classic Series. So this most northerly vertical sun rays are on June 22nd here on the Tropic of Cancer. And an easy way to remember the Tropic of Cancer is north and Tropic of Capricorn is down here in the south is that N comes before P in the alphabet, so N then P. And then here, right at the equator, you can see it says direction of the Earth's rotation, just in case you weren't sure and wanted to know. And here it shows like the Polynesian canoes. I've really learned some interesting stuff about Polynesian exploration lately, and how they almost everyone in that area came from between China and Taiwan and sailed in these canoes like all over to populate so many of the islands down in Oceania and Micronesia, and I forget the names of all the different places. But really interesting. And then in 75 or 9, golly, don't quote me, there was a push by people from these island nations to sort of recreate that and see if it could be done again. Sailing in the same kind of boats and using just the stars to navigate. So it's really interesting. I watched a whole documentary on it. Here's the Hawaiian Islands. And I'll say one of my very favorite facts, I don't know why, this just tickles me, but is that Hawaii is the most remote island chain in the world. Like, look how far it is. Like, if you were here in SoCal. Whoa, so far. And then it's just near, like, nothing. It's just close to nothing. And I find it absolutely fascinating that you could start here and you could fly, and say like you came all the way to like New York, right? So you've just gone something like 6,000 or 8,000 miles and you're in the same country. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's a long way. Speaking of big countries, here's Canada. Got Alaska up here. Been up into the different territories. You can hear the Canadian Rockies right here. And of course you can follow them all the way down. Here's the Sierras. I like the mountains because they make the nice noise. Then we have the big flat land in the middle. Then you have the little Appalachians over here. They're not very tall. And then, the flat eastern seaboard again. Down from Canada, all the way down to Florida. You can get down to Cuba, and the Bahamas, and everything down here. Here's Mexico and Central America, Gulf of Mexico, and the Caribbean. And South America. Again, look how curved it is, right? Ooh, we gotta go under. Of course, we have the Andes here. They're tall. Ooh. And a lot of mountains over here, too. We'll go back up. We already covered these guys. There's Bermuda. Oh no, I think I'm scraping my map. It's out here. I'm always surprised at actually how far north Bermuda is. It's off the Carolinas. So let's come around. We've got Newfoundland here, Nova Scotia with Halifax. I'd really like to see the Bay of Fundy one day because it's one of the few places, I think maybe one of 2 places on Earth that's supposed to have actual whirlpools. Whirlpools, I always think they're one of those things that when you're a kid, they come up a lot, right? They're always in cartoons. But in real life, whirlpools are not a threat. Another thing like that is quicksand, right? In kids' stuff, there's so much quicksand, but not really a danger in real life. I remember my cousins and I would always think we were in quicksand whenever we were in sand. Look how far north this is, right? Canada. And then Greenland over here, so far north. What's this ship here? Viking longship, where Leif Erikson came in 1000 AD. Goodness. I do want to just say before I forget, let's come back over here. So we're going against the Earth's actual rotation now. But so here's Alaska, right? Oh my gosh, I'm not doing a good job. Okay, so here's Alaska. Got the Aleutian Islands here, all out. But, you know, this was called Seward's Folly when the purchase of Alaska was made and it became part of the U.S. And then, of course, it turns out it's rich in oil, which was big and important. But I tell you now, thank goodness we have Alaska, because it is the one way it makes us an Arctic nation and gives us, you know, access, I mean the United States, that's where I live, to the Arctic, right? There are only, 7 Arctic nations, I think. We wouldn't be if that guy hadn't pushed through that sail, so way to go. Because a lot's going to go on up there as the ice caps melt. So we've got this here. And here's the Azores. My family lineage goes back to the Azores. They're also not all that close to anything. They're technically Portugal, but here's the Azores, and here's Portugal. So it's a big way. Then we've got Iceland up here. That's a big deal right now, huh? People are loving to go to Iceland. It's like the travel place du jour. Oh, I will show up here. These are time zones, so you can, you know, turn it and see what time it is anywhere in the world and compared to other places. So here's Svalbard, which I believe is the most northern place on Earth that people live, if a YouTube video I saw is correct. And then this says Franz Josef Land. I'm not at all familiar with that. Here's the Arctic Circle. I've only been up above that once. It was light all the time. Okay, so now we're in Europe, and just look again. Norway and Sweden and Finland are so far north. Here's the Barents Sea, right? And Norway, as you see, goes up and reaches across and actually borders Russia. So, Finland borders Russia, and Norway borders Russia, but Sweden actually doesn't. I would like to see the fjords of Norway one day. Definitely on my travel list. And then we have, you know, the United Kingdom with England and Scotland and Wales. We have Ireland, Northern Ireland. Then Portugal, Spain, France. So this is when I was talking about how far you could go and still be in the US. And here, you would go through so many countries if you travel that distance. Let's go in just a little bit here. There, of course, is Ukraine. I'm sure we're all praying. Belarus and Poland. Where's Estonia? Here's Estonia. You know, I've been looking at many old maps lately for various reasons, and you know, depending on when it's made, the world looks very different with its borders. You know, certain maps, all of this, of course, is just in the USSR, and all the stands over here too. And I was thinking, it's been a long time since we've had a new country, or a very, I don't know how you'd put it, political border change, where like an actual new government was formed, because the last new country formed is South Sudan. And that, I think, was 2005, so it's been almost 20 years since there's been a new country. Pretty stable borders, or national governments, I guess. Anyway, here's one like Eritrea, you know, that's also relatively new. A lot of maps don't have that. Here's Oman and Yemen, Saudi Arabia. And of course, you know, we've got Syria, Iraq, and Jordan. Little Israel right here. Then we've got Egypt. We've got all the African nations. You can feel again here. Well, I guess you guys can't feel it, but I can. Some mountains that go through here. One thing that fascinates me is, I'm going to spin this and then we'll come back here, but look how much land and how many people are in the northern hemisphere. Whew, that Pacific Ocean is so big. Look at it. Whoa, gigantic. So much of the earth. That's probably a little fast to be relaxing, so I'll slow it down. Anyway, 80% of the Earth's population lives in the northern hemisphere. Crazy, right? I mean, it makes sense because that's where all the land is, but definitely not evenly distributed. So here's some more. Look how big the Democratic Republic of the Congo is. Golly. We've got South Africa way down here. And here's Madagascar. Look how far south Madagascar is. Got some mountains there. Across from Mozambique. So many islands. Oh, there's the Seychelles. Just in case you'd forgotten. Let's see who this guy is. The São Gabriel from Vasco da Gama. Traveling from 97 to 99. Goodness, I either have a very dirty globe or I'm pulling off all the, what would you call it? The text with my fingernail here. Here's the Maldives. Never been there. Sri Lanka. Here's a Chinese junk. I don't know if this happened for you guys in school, but we thought it was hilarious that ships were called junks when I was in like 3rd grade. And that's one of the many things I love about different languages, right? Is what sounds mean to different people, even though they're all just sounds that we make. So here's Iran. And Afghanistan. We're getting into all the stands now. So we've got Pakistan and Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. It's funny, I know people from so many of these stands who've lived there, live here now, or I've met different places. Even though I don't think they make up too much of the world's population. Here's the Himalayas. Huge mountains, obviously, highest in the world. They go up through here. See the mountainous region here in Afghanistan. And of course here's India. Huge population center and growing ever in importance in the geopolitical stage. Let's see what's up here. Well, we're getting to a big country now in Russia. And I'm not really going to comment because that wouldn't be relaxing, but look how big Russia is. It's just enormous. Here's the Ural Mountains, right? And yet so much of their population is here on the European side, right? And then just huge. Look how big it is. How far north they go. Even Kazakhstan is very large. Look at that. Russia, Russia, just forever. And this is just basically like empty. I know not really, because look at all these towns, but I think when you're going through it, it feels pretty empty. You know, you get out here to Siberia. Here's their mountain. New Siberia Island. Look at this. And this is such an interesting place to me. It's a place I super want to go. Darn it, and I'm missing it. It's where North Korea, China, and Russia all meet. Like right there. And I was like, talk about a place that'd be so strange to stand. I did some research on it, and apparently there's like a little a little place you can stand and sort of look into all the countries, and obviously they're very guarded. And didn't look very peaceful of a place, but I sure would like to go there and try it out. Here's Mongolia. I always thought Mongolia was absolutely fascinating. I think Genghis Khan is a very interesting figure to think about. He just took over so much of the earth, right? So much during his time, and you hear the stats of how many people on the planet are related to him. It's like 30% or something. I shouldn't be saying these facts that I don't remember exactly right, but something like that. And like very, very bad things he did, but then very, very good things he did. He seemed to be an excellent government administrator. So just fascinating, the different sides of people. And here, of course, is the Gobi Desert. Don't want to get stuck there. There's an interesting program our U.S. National Guard has, where National Guard units will pair with different countries around the world, and they'll share, lessons learned and techniques and ideas and things. And I remember one of them was pair with Mongolia, but I forget which state now. And now we come to China. Huge population, immense economic power, right? So big. Look at it. These big countries, and they're so geographically diverse, and especially with, mountains that separate them. Here's the Himalayas again. Of course, they border India here. So interesting because such different cultures pop up within one country itself, right? Like, it's so easy to say American culture or Chinese culture or Russian culture, and of course those things exist, but there's so many differences in them, especially when a place is so big and so populous. I love languages and I love culture. I just really enjoy the similarities that they're all based on, and then the different details people have put on them. And it reminds me a lot of the church, right? Because the Catholic Church has 1 billion people, at least, in it. And so while it's one religion with one liturgy and one worship, and anywhere you go on the globe, you would walk into Mass, and Mass would be Mass. But of course there's differences too, because people are different. And I think it just goes to show how much God likes diversity and the changes that he likes. I think of that with how many types of grass there are in the world. There's a lot of types of just grass. So I guess if you're completely omniscient and omnipotent, you can think of a lot of different things. So here's Southern Asia, Southeastern Asia. I'm not particularly familiar with this area of the world. Bangladesh and Myanmar. Here's Laos. A lot of people going to Vietnam and Thailand lately, I know. Big vacation areas. Here's Malaysia and Indonesia. The Philippines. What's this say? Arab Dao, 500 AD. Oh, there's Palau. I've been there. Took a long time to get there, I'll tell you that. There's Taiwan. Here's Hong Kong. Here's the South China Sea. The Ryukyu Islands. And here, of course, is Japan. And the Koreas. Look how close South Korea and Japan are. The mountains here in Japan. And of course, they have the multiple islands that make up their nation. Japan and Britain amaze me because they're these small island nations, and yet they're such powerhouses with, not a whole lot of natural resource or land or population to work for, or with, excuse me. Here's the Marianas. Of course, the deepest place we know in the ocean is the Marianas Trench, so I don't see that listed on here. Actually, I guess I don't know if it's over there. I think it is, but maybe it's not. Come down here, we'll see Papua New Guinea. Hold on, I'm gonna try to sit down, so it's gonna wiggle around just a little bit here. But I am closer to the microphone, if you like that. So here we go. Got Borneo, Malaysia, Indonesia, this island nation, chain of islands. Whoa, what's down here? Hi, Australia. Golly, you're far. Look at all these mountains in the middle. Oh my goodness. Holy cow, it's hard to even see you. You're so far down here. So, oops. We've got Australia all around here. And so empty in the middle, right? I believe the entire country of Australia has about the population of California. And look, that means a lot of empty land. Then we've got New Zealand. Ooh, way down over here. Hi, New Zealand. Wow, New Zealand's really far down there. You can see the North Island and the South Island, though barely. Then we've got all these islands here. Tuvalu and Kiribati and Samoa, Tonga, Fiji. I've been there. So, these are some of the islands I was talking about that have been with the people who came down from here between, oh gosh, that's a funny shadow. Let me see if I can remember. So it was like here between China and Taiwan, and they were in their canoes, and they sailed down and just populated all this area, right? And it sort of amazes me, not that they could navigate or get there or anything like that. People have always been doing that. But like, how did they have enough water, like fresh water? And did they not bathe, or how did they sleep in these canoes? Man, people are tough. You can see the reflection of my hand. That's kind of cool. I like that. So we've got different island chains, a lot of islands in the world. Come back up here. And there we go. A quick trip around the world with a few almost facts. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're having a good time. Let me know if there's anything in particular that interests you about cultures or language, and I could do another video where I have some better research beforehand and give some facts about it. So, thank you for joining me. Oops. I hope you'll also join me in praying. Oh my goodness, it's so wiggly. I hope you'll also join me in praying for our dear world. And until next time, I hope you're well. Golly. Thanks again for watching.